Hi guys. Okay, so somebody asked if Wesley has scars, and the answer to that is yes, he has lots and lots and lots of scars. When he was in the NICU in the hospital when he was first born, he actually had to have 7 different surgeries to help keep him alive. So of course he's got a lot of scars from those. One thing that happened to him when he was super little, he was about a week old. Hi. Is they had to put an IV in him, and the only place they could get it was in his leg. So they had an IV right here, and what happened is they put this patch called a bio patch on it, and it was to keep it clean and make sure that no bugs or viruses or anything got into it. But because he was so little, his skin was super sensitive, and that patch actually burned kind of a hole in him. So if you see, it's kind of circular. You don't want me to touch that? This is just a birthmark, actually, kind of funny, but, so he had a bio patch right here. You can kind of see the circle, and, it burned right through him, and what happened was when he was little, he kept kicking the scab, and it just kept opening, and kept opening, and opening, and opening, and so what happened is that the cut and the burn kept getting bigger, and bigger, and bigger, and they just couldn't get it to heal because he was such a kicker in the NICU. So that's what this scar is. That's kind of just a random scar that he's going to have now. But one of the first surgeries he had to have was actually a heart surgery, because when you're born super, super little, sometimes not all the valves on your heart close. And when that happens, sometimes the blood doesn't go to the right spots and the right organs in your body, kind of like a leaky hose. Not all the water goes to the right spots. So one of the first things they had to do was do a heart surgery to close the valve. And it's basically just a little slit that they do, and then they put a little clip on the valve that wasn't closed, and that's it. So even though his heart's right here, his surgery is actually right here. They actually go through your back. Now this is grown with him. It actually was teeny, teeny, tiny when they first did it, but the bigger he gets, the more that it grows. But kind of funny because this is actually his heart surgery, even though it's on his back. Another surgery, actually a few different surgeries that he had to have, were on his stomach, because the blood, when his heart wasn't working right, wasn't getting down to his stomach. It was going to the more important organs like his brain and his lungs, and some of the other organs that he has, and it wasn't getting all the way down to his stomach because the valve was open and the blood wasn't going to the right spots. So he got a really, really bad infection the first week that he was in the NICU in his stomach. And the first thing they have to do is they put a little drain right here, and it drains out all the infection from his stomach. So that was the first surgery that he ever had, was right here. It was just a little drain. And actually, that one they ended up having to take out after a couple days, and they had to put another one in. So he has another spot right here on the other side of him to drain out the rest of the infection when he got that stomach infection. So that's the second surgery he had. And then they had to cut open his tummy across here. Does that tickle? And open up his intestines and leave it out for a little while to clear out the infection that he got in his stomach. So that's this surgery. And then they closed him back up, and then they had to go back in because he had reflux really bad right when he was about to get out of the NICU. And he kept throwing up all his food, and that's really dangerous because sometimes they can get pneumonia and some other things. So they had to go in and do another surgery, but he had too much scar tissue this way, so they had to open him up this way. So he looked like he had a big cross on him when he was little. So they did this surgery, and they put a flap over his stomach so he couldn't throw up, and they put the Mickey button in. So they did those two at the same time. He also had laser eye surgery to fix his eyes when he was just in the NICU. And the last surgery he had, this one was from a Broviac, which is a permanent IV. Because he got the scar and the scab on his knee, when they tried to put a different IV in, they decided to just do a surgery and put a permanent IV in so that they didn't have to keep changing it. It would just stay in. So when he was little, he actually had cords and things coming from here, and this was his IV and how they gave him all his medicines and everything. But I don't know if you can really see, you can kind of see a few of the different scars that he has, but his little heels have tons of scars. You can kind of see there. He got another one here from just a scab and an IV they had in him. But his heels are really prickly because of all the IVs and the blood draws they had to do. They had to poke his heel all the time. And he's got another scar here. I don't really know how he got that one. But if you look on his wrists, like here, he's got all kinds of different lines. It's hard to tell on here. But each of his little hands, see, he's got some here and some little pricks. Those are all from the IVs that he had to have because he had hundreds and hundreds of different IVs and blood draws and medicines given to him and all kinds of stuff. So he is like a war veteran here with all the different scars he has, but every year they get a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter, and we put lotion and different kinds of things on them to try and make them so that they heal well and he doesn't get thick scar tissue. And they just show all the stuff that he's been through and survived from, so when he grows up he'll have quite a lot of stories to tell in school.